Hi, I'm Valentin, freelance sound designer for games, and in this video we are going to take a look at different audio listener positions and how they affect the sound. The audio listener is our set of virtual ears within the game world, through which we perceive the in-game audio. For first-person games, the situation is simple. We are the character and the character is the camera. So the audio listener will be attached to the camera and we will always hear things the way we see them, just like in the real world. But with third-person games, it gets a little bit more complicated. There are three possible options. Number 1. Adding the audio listener to the camera. This is the exact same scenario as with first-person games. We hear things from the viewpoint of the camera. The sounds being the closest to the camera will be the loudest. The downside of this approach is that we perceive audio like in a first-person game, even though we are now controlling a character from third-person view. We also hear things delayed compared to our character, as our virtual ears on the camera are constantly lagging behind the character. If the character passes a torch, for example, we won't hear it until the camera catches up. This may feel a little bit disconnected from the character. To get more in sync with the character, we have another option. Number 2. Adding the audio listener to the character. This way we hear things the way the character hears them. Whatever the character is encountering within the world, we will perceive it in the exact same way. The downside is that the sound can be a little bit too authentic to the character and create a mismatch between what we see and what we hear. When the character turns on the spot without rotating the camera, the sound jumps from one side to the other as the character changes its orientation to the sound source. To prevent this, we can merge option 1 and 2. Number 3. Adding the audio listener to the character combined with the rotation of the camera. We still hear things from the character's position, but now from our point of view by taking over the rotation of the camera instead of the character. Therefore, we don't add the audio listener directly to the character, but create a separate game object that will be positioned at the character's head and attach the audio listener to that object. After that, we override its orientation by adding these nodes to the character blueprint in Unreal or these few lines of code to the audio listener game object in Unity. You can find links to the blueprint as well as the script in the description down below. So which version to choose? Well, this depends on your personal preference and what type of game you're working on. For a game with an isometric camera, option 1 might work just fine, as the camera has a fixed position and distance, whereas for a free-floating camera, option 2 or 3 might be better. Personally, I mostly go with option 3 because I want to identify myself with the character and hear things the way he does, but still take the camera's viewpoint into account. And that's it. I hope you now came to a conclusion where to put the audio listener in your game. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.